Hello, everyone, and welcome to Starcraft2Forum.org presents their Starcraft 2 tournament. And our sponsors, NVIDIA, Antec, Razer, Patriot Memory, and Shock's Starcraft 2 Guide.
Yeah, it's a lot of sponsors.
Yeah, it's totally a lot. It's like the most sponsors I've ever seen.
So, I am your host, Guns Akimbo.
And I'm your host, Negative Suns.
And we are watching games from Round 3.
Yeah, these are feature games from Round 3. We're not casting all of Round 3, unfortunately. We just don't have the time. There's a lot of people competing in this tournament. But we are going to bring you in full the semifinals and finals. So, stay with us for that.
Exactly. So let's get right to this game of Round 3. We are on Shakuras Plateau, which is a new multiplayer map with StarCraft 2.
Yes. And by new, we mean it wasn't in the beta. There's a whole host of maps that Blizzard did not share with the beta testers that are now only being included in the final release of StarCraft 2. So nobody has much experience on this map. It's relatively new.
And so let's introduce our players. We have Jizmak as the blue Protoss.
Yes.
At the top left corner of the map.
And also for the Horde.
Oh, his little decal. Yeah, I guess he is.
See.
And on the right-hand corner, we have the purple Protoss, WannaBKilled.
Yes. So this is a PvP, a mirror matchup. And the interesting thing to note about these starting positions on Shakuras Plateau is that there is a backdoor between the two bases. That if you wanted to attack your opponent's mineral line, there's an easy way to, by killing the rocks, crossing the bridge, where there also is an expansion, killing your opponent's rocks, and then attacking them discreetly from behind their front lines.
Exactly.
It's usually, on the maps with backdoors like this, it's a very effective tactic to go for the backdoor.
And we do have Jizmak starting with a Forge first, which is... I've been seeing that a little bit more in games again, but it's usually the forward Forge where they put it down by their expansion and then block off with cannons to go for a very macro-heavy game. It's interesting to see a Forge being placed right here, but maybe it's just close. No, he's going for cannons right at his main base.
Yeah, that's a little atypical. Normally, if you were going for a Forge first build, it would be because you wanted to either quickly secure your natural expansion, in which case your Forge would be at your natural choke, or you want to do some sort of cannon rush, in which case you might see a Forge in the main and a pylon at your opponent's base, but no, this looks like he's building his cannons in his own base. A very defensive and I think somewhat passive playstyle.
Yeah, this is something I very rarely see, cannons going down first for a Protoss player.
However, WannaBKilled going with a very normal standard build of a gateway at the choke and then followed by a assimilator. So, I'm imagining he'll go for a Cybercore next, his second gas, and also get warp gates at some point.
And so we do have WannaBKilled's probe scouting the map. I do not see a probe yet on the map scouting for Jizmak.
No, it looks like he's not getting any early scouting information at all. It's very important to send an early worker unit to the other starting locations on the map so that you know, A, where your opponent is on a 4-player map like this, and B, what they're doing. And now,
well, he was denied WannaBKilled was denied any kind of real.
Well, actually,
scout.
He's not denied any. He has the most important information, which is that his opponent has gone Forge first and cannons in his main. So that means that Jizmak knows he has complete map control right now. He doesn't have to worry about any offensive units from his opponent. A strong move in this situation would be for him to take a fast expansion while building up his forces.
And so we do have the Cybercore and a Stargate now coming out for WannaBKilled, and this is a great move because all these cannons right now are placed at the front of the base.
Yeah.
And any kind of Void Ray attack can come out, warm up on these destructible rocks right here, get to full power, and come in and just kill probes, even kill the Nexus, unless we get some cannons down at the back right here.
Two or three Void Rays can just kill a Nexus so quickly. It's like you blink your eye and it's gone. Now, the only thing I can think that Jizmak might be trying to do with this Forge First build is maybe he thinks he wants to get a defense and then tack really quickly, which would explain that really fast Cybernetics core after Gateway. But if he was going for a tech build, you'd want to have 2 assimilators, and you'd really want to just skip the forges and do a build similar to what WannaBKilled is doing, where he's gotten his gateway first, he skipped forge cannons, and then he immediately got his Psycore and Stargate, and his tech is going to come out way faster than his opponent, even though his opponent is not building any early units for defense.
Exactly, but he built all those cannons.
Right.
I mean, we do have Chrono Boost going down on the Stargate. These Void Rage are going to be coming out very fast.
I mean, you have to remember his opponent has built, I think, 4 or 5 cannons. That's essentially a Nexus and another gateway. So 3 cannons. So that's 4 cannons.
And a fourth on the way.
4 cannons. So that's essentially a Nexus and some change. So he could have expanded in this time. And it looks as though the purple Protoss, WannaBKilled, is taking that expansion in a really smart location. It's sort of hidden on the bottom half of the map, not in the normal spot that you would assume a natural expansion would go. So he's really capitalizing correctly on his opponent's overly defensive cannon build.
And so now we finally do have a scouting probe going out for Jizmak, as he sees nothing yet of WannaBKilled's build, what he's doing at all. And this is really poor decision making. Right. You can't just be building blindly. Again, he's building defenses blindly in his base. Now he's getting out one Void Ray with his Stargate, but really...
all those cannons are sort of unnecessary at this point, and because there was no early rush, there's no really frontal attack coming. I mean, his opponent's going for Void Rays, which are going to be able to very easily avoid those cannons.
Exactly.
So
except for this one, and a warmed up Void Ray, 2 Void Rays warmed up from these rocks can just take this cannon right down.
Yeah, I mean, and even if he hits the base from the other angle, it would still completely avoid that cannon. And I really feel like those cannons are wasted resources.
I kind of wonder if maybe that was a little bit of nerves. You're in a tournament. You don't want to be, cheesed out of
Possibly.
the tournament.
Yeah.
But, I guess we'll see.
We'll see what happens. Yeah. I did notice in a lot of the round 1 and 2 games there was a lot of rushes. So maybe Jizmak got to round 3 by, defending against those early rushes with this cannon build. But now, you do want to be you do always want to make sure you scout your opponent, and you want to be very careful about spending your resources on static defense.
But Jizmak has now seen the essentially almost hidden expo by WannaBKilled that has just finished.
Yeah. And actually, it's funny because his very late scout is what allowed him to see that. I'm not saying it's in any way good to scout that late, but if he hadn't scouted that late, he probably would not have found that expansion.
And so now this Void Ray kind of roaming the map. I wonder if he's preparing to kind of test the base here, but we do have 3 Void Rays.
Yeah.
And 2 Stalkers.
And as everyone knows, 3 is better than 2.
Is that true?
Maybe. I don't know. It depends where you're from, I guess.
These Void Rays are now being target fired by Jizmak, and WannaBKilled not responding at all.
No, he's
trying to rush right to the
getting
base.
Completely torn up, and he's going to lose a Void
losing
Ray.
one.
And now he is outnumbered 3-2. So a little switcheroo there.
Well, no, WannaBKilled does 3, and Jizmak has... Oh, no, it is 3-2. I'm sorry. Wow.
Yeah, it got turned around.
Very, very, very terrible micro right there.
Now, but this is interesting. I'm wondering if these Stalkers are going to make a difference. Jizmak really should fly away from the Stalkers and fight out of their range, because fighting in range with the Stalkers is going to lose him his ships.
And, all Void Rays going down at the same time.
That was cute. Did you see that? And Jizmak saying GG.
GG.
Did you see that? The 2 Void Rays, killed each other at the exact same time.
Now, that was GG, but we don't see Jizmak having left the game, and he's still producing units, and so this is... I wonder if it's one of those cheap plays where you say GG and your other opponent takes a break and thinks he's won, and then you come back and win for that cheap win. So I don't know what's going on here. This tournament is now out of control. We have no clue what's happening. Jizmak now chasing down Void Rays and killing them just from terrible micro. This is a weird game, man. Yeah, this is also really not a standard PvP. Yeah.
And now WannaBKilled adding a second Stargate. Interesting. I guess this is going to be a game. This is going to be a game of who can build more Void Rays. Really.
And not micro them. I'm not trying to criticize the players, but there's been very, very little micro of any of these units.
Yeah.
So many units being thrown away. So I honestly can't predict right now what is going to happen, because while WannaBKilled does have the advantage with the extra Nexus down.
Well, assuming that WannaBKilled cannot lose to these Void Rays, he's going to slowly accrue the advantage, definitely, because he does have that expansion, and as long as he produces, and he does have that second Stargate, so he's gonna pretty quickly begin to outnumber his opponent, and the stalkers that he's building are perfect secondary counter to the Void Rays. So I place the advantage right now firmly in WannaBKilled's court. I'm assuming Jizmak knows that also, which is why he said GG, and I just don't know why he's still playing.
Yeah, again, that's very unconventional, and to be honest, I don't know if that was going for a cheap play. That is something that makes me very angry.
Yeah.
And I am now rooting. I know we're commentators, not supposed to be rooting for a side, but I'm rooting for the guy that didn't do that.
Yeah. Yeah, it's I mean, like, some people think that all the conventions like the GG and the GLHF are silly, but it's really, I mean, that's what the community has come up with, and so I mean, it's really important to be respectful. If you say GG, you should mean it.
Yeah,
you know?
Exactly. And that, I mean, really, even if for some reason Jizmak came back and won this game, I still think that on a technical level he did lose.
Yeah.
First to type GG would be a loss, but you know, I think he's going to lose either way at this point, just because he is being outproduced.
Anyway, we should talk about the game, not criticize the opponents. So, even though I agree with you.
Screw you guys! But now all these Void Rays.
So now the massive Void Ray fleet from the purple WannaBKilled coming in.
And is he going to warm up on the rocks? No, not even a warm up here. Damn.
And the thing is, you really can't run away from Void Rays with other Void Rays once they start firing at you, because Void Rays can fire while moving. There's really no point in trying to run away. It does nothing. You're better off trying to see what damage you can do by staying and fighting, because you won't escape.
But another note, again, a truly experienced player would have warmed up on these rocks.
Yeah.
Void Rays their power increases as they go on in the game. But now he's coming through. He's wrecking that cannon, taking everything out.
This is going to be the end for Jizmak, because really his natural is just coming up now. It's not even finished warping in, and this is his only mining base, so he's pretty much done now. The only thing he could do is start hiding pylons around the map at this point, I think.
And hopefully we won't see a game go to that lengths of hiding pylons.
Yeah. But
there we go. Finally, the GG, and let's move on to game 2 to see what happens between these players.
The second GG.